Good afternoon, children. Hope you have understood this chapter and the explanation that I did earlier. Still now, nobody has asked me any questions regarding this, and I wish you asked me some questions, because when you give, we want your feedbacks, and then we would understand that you are following the classes. Okay, please ask me questions and any clarifications that you need. All right. Okay, so and explanation alone is not enough. It has to be followed by reading. Reading is very essential. All right, so let's begin to read, and in between I'm going to do a little bit, maybe some explanations. Okay, so the name of the chapter is A School with a Difference. And one thing, children, I will go a little bit faster because see, this is not school, so I have to be little faster. All right. Okay, the name of the writer is E.V. Lucas. That's all. We're not going to read in details about the writer. I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school, but not till last week. The chance to come to visit it. When I arrived at the school, there was no one in sight except a girl of about 12 with her eyes covered with a bandage. She was being led carefully between the flower beds by a little boy not more than 8 years old. She stopped and evidently asked who it was that had come in, and he seemed to be describing me to her. Then they passed on. So Miss Beam was all that I had expected, middle-aged, kindly, and understanding. Her hair was beginning to turn grey and she was plump in a way that would be comforting to a homesick child. That means it's talking about Miss Beam. The way she looked, her appearance was something very pleasing to a child who would feel homesick. Homesick means when, see, this is a hostel, as I told you earlier. So when a child wants to go home, feels like going home, that's called, that feelings is called homesick. So Miss Beam, the way, her appearance was very loving, and you can see the word kind. So she was very good for such children, comforting and loving towards them. We talked idly. Idly means without any reason, simply talking for a little while, and then I asked her some questions as to her teaching methods, which I had heard were simple. No more than is needed to help them to learn how to do things, and those only of the simplest: spelling, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and writing. The rest is done by reading to them and by interesting talk, during which they have to sit still and keep their hands quiet. Practically, there are no other lessons at all. Okay. So I have heard so much, the speaker saying, I said, about the originality of your system. That means originality means they are doing something, new, original. Now Miss Beam smiled. Ah, yes, she said, I am coming to that. The real aim of this school is not so much to instill thought as thoughtfulness, humanity, citizenship. That is the ideal I have always had, and happily there are parents good enough to trust me to try and put it into practice. Look out of a window a minute, will you? Now, what's the meaning of instill? Instill means to teach someone to think, behave, or feel in a particular way over a period of time. Okay. So this the principal is saying that the school is not so much to instill, to force you to think, okay, but it just happens. They do something, as I told you, the things that they do at school automatically makes the children into good human beings. I went to the window which overlooked a large garden and playground at the back. This is talking about the speaker. What do you see? Miss Beam asked. I see some very beautiful grounds, I said, and a lot of jolly children. Oh, but wait, what perplexes me? Perplexes means confuses me, and pains me too. That means I'm sad to see them, is to notice that they are not all as healthy and active as I should wish. As I came in, I saw one poor little thing being led about owing to some trouble with her eyes. Now I can see two more in the same plight. Same plight means same condition. Well, there is a girl with a crutch just under the window watching the others at play. That means a lame girl, taking the help of a crutch. She seems to be a hopeless cripple. Miss Beam laughed. Oh no, she said. She's not lame really. This is only her lame day. Remember, everybody has their own day. Nor are those others blind. It is only their blind day. I must have looked very much astonished, for she laughed again. Astonished means the speaker was really looked very surprised. Okay, there you have an important part of our system in a nutshell. In order to get a real appreciation and understanding of misfortune into these young minds, we make them participants in misfortune too. See, here it is. To make the students understand the difficult situations of life, what the school is doing, they are making the students do that, making them a participant so that they themselves do the things and understand how it is to be a blind, how life is when you are lame, how life is when you are deaf and dumb. In the course of the term, and what happens, every child has one blind day, one lame day, one deaf day, one maimed day. What's maimed? Maimed is seriously, often, permanent, seriously, often, okay? One maimed day, then one dumb day. During the blind day, their eyes are bandaged absolutely. And it is a point of honor not to peep. That means they are not going to peep. Okay, they will that's the trust in the game. The bandage is put on overnight and they wake up blind. At night when they go to sleep, that time only they wake up blind. This means that they need assistance in everything. See, as I told you earlier. Now, and other children are told to help them and let them about. It is educative to both of them, right? The blind and the helpers. Okay. There is no hardship about it, Miss Beam continued. Everyone is very kind. See, this is what I want to give more importance, okay? Stress on this point. And it is really something of a joke. Although, of course, before the day is over, the reality of the affliction means something that causes pain or suffering, must be clear, even to the least thoughtful. The blind day is, of course, really the worst, she went on, but some of the children tell that the dumb day is the most dreaded. There, of course, the child must exercise willpower only. For the mouth is not bandaged, but come down into the garden and see for yourself how the children like it. Miss Beam led me to one of the bandaged girls, a happy little thing, whose eyes under the folds were, I felt sure, bright and twinkling. Here's a gentleman come to talk to you, said Miss Beam, and left us. Don't you ever peep? I asked, by way of opening. Oh no, she exclaimed. That would be cheating. But I had no idea that it was so awful. Awful means so, painful to be blind. You can't see a thing. One feels one is going to be hit by something every moment. Sitting down, such a relief. Are you helpers kind to you? I asked. Pretty good. Not so careful as I shall be when it's my turn. Those that have been blind already are the best. You got this point? She's telling that, okay, those who are helping me are pretty good. But she's telling, but I will be, next time when it's my turn to help somebody, a blind, I will be more careful. Why? Because now she has already experienced this, right? It is happening to her. So she knows how to help when a person is blind. It's perfectly ghastly not to see. I wish. Now, ghastly means very bad or unpleasant. Shall I lead you anywhere? I asked. Oh, yes, she said. Let's go for a little walk. Only you must tell me about things. Being blind is so frightening. My head aches all the time. Aches means pain. Okay, you can write down with a pencil. Aches means to pain. All the time just from worrying that I'll get hurt. Where are we now? In the playground, I said. We are walking towards the house. Miss Beam is walking up and down the garden with a tall girl. What is the girl wearing? My little friend asked. A blue cotton skirt and a pink blouse. I think it's Millie, she said. What color is her hair? Very light, I said. Yes, that's Millie. She is the head girl. There is an old man trying up roses, I said. Oh, yes, that's Peter. He is the gardener. He is hundreds of years old. And here comes a girl with curly red hair. She is on crutches. Oh, that's Anita, she said. And so we walked on. Gradually, I discovered that I was 10 times more thoughtful than I ever thought I could be. I also realized that if I had to describe people and think to someone else, it made them more interesting to me. I told Miss Beam that I was very sorry to go. Ah, she replied, then there's something to my system after all. So the last paragraph, there are two things that the speaker learns. One is that he became 10 times more thoughtful. That means now he could understand the pain, the life of a blind, the deaf, and all these people. So he became more careful, thoughtful, right? Previously he was not so. And now he realized that if I had to describe peoples and things to someone else, now to describe something to others, it makes more interesting. He learns, he himself has to know, then only it will be possible for him to describe something to others, and which is more interesting to the speaker. Now, just the last lesson that I would like to tell you is that, so from this story we learn that we learn also to be patient, right? Patience means not in a hurry, not to blame others too easily, but we can always we have to have patience to talk with each other. We will after doing this exercise, I think if we do this exercise, we'll stop blaming each other. We'll become very kind towards each other, because we know one day or other everybody of us will be in problem. So slowly when we are in such kind of exercise or game, you can say, then slowly what happens, we will all change. And I think this school, all the students in this school were lovely, and they were very kind and helpful, because they can't be rude to each other. They can't be rough to each other, because every day one or the other day, every day somebody will be blind, somebody will be blamed. So how can you be cruel to your friend, right? Because if today you're cruel to your friend, you're not helping, next day you are lame, now you need help. Who is going to help you now, right? So this is a very good of making ourselves disciplined, a good children, turning ourselves into really good human beings, and really I love this story, and I believe that you too loved this story. All right, and I want you to, children, after reading this, okay, please read it again. See, I always tell students that after English literature, after listening to the story, explanation, everything, read the story 5 times, because the questions I'm going to ask you is from inside, and you have to write it in your own words. I don't want bookish words. All right, so you can write in your own words only when you have understood the chapter well. I want you to do complete these sentences. Okay, so complete the sentences means what? You will not have this exact sentence in the book, but you have to little bit twist it. Okay, change the sentence when you write. Put little bit grammatically. You have to change the sentence and write. Okay. Suppose the last one. 2 realizations that the speaker had after visiting Miss Beam's school were what? Were that he discovered, I will become he. He discovered that he was 10 times more thoughtful than he ever thought he could be. And he also realized that he had to describe people. If he had to describe people and things to someone else, it made them more interesting to him. So what are the changes we are making? We are making I into him. So likewise, please go so this is your task today. Okay, page 33. All right, bye.